I swear, with our next guest, Mike Richards, I feel like the crowd is like Jerry Springer. They're like, raw Mike, raw Mike, raw Mike. People are writing in saying, we're ready for Mike. So let's get him in here, Mike Richards. And I wanted raw Mike from Saga 960 to, you're looking great, buddy, by the way. Glad to see you back behind the microphone here.
It's amazing what operations.
I didn't know how to. Yes. Absolutely. Each one you're getting better is what I'm excited to say.
Yeah.
How would you handle the Gaudreau Tkachuk situation for all your fans and friends here in Calgary? How would you be handling it if you were on Fan 960 right now?
Well, I think right now there's a lot of stuff that quite frankly panics me. It is, there's certain issues that within players with that, and look, I'm not privy to what goes on in the dressing room per se, certainly with Calgary, but when you start leaving for less money, when you start changing term that would be better where you stayed, when you think that there's a relationship there with this team and what they achieved last year, and it literally is not going to happen. It's like asking that girl out to the prom, and no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, she's leaving. She's not going home with you. And now it's going to happen for a second time with Tkachuk. Those insinuations about just the stability of the Flames organization staying in Calgary itself. No, I'm worried. I would be very worried because, look, you never know fully what goes on in an athlete's mind. We think we do, and we think it's always tied to the dollar figure, which it normally is. Sometimes we think it's tied to term. But then there's things that are of a family nature, and I'll be honest, there are certainly significant issues in our society over the last 3 years. I don't know, COVID probably being one of them, where all of a sudden there are familial ties that start to come up bigger than maybe what they did beforehand. So if you want to move back to where you're from, if you're from St. Louis, if you're moving back because you're an East Coaster in the United States, I would say that there might be a pull that way, but it's the manner in which it has happened. It seemed like no matter what the Flames were going to do, that Johnny Hockey was not going to stay. So I don't think it's shocking, or it shouldn't be shocking, but I think it's extremely disappointing seeing that. I think there was a pretty good relationship happening in Calgary. At least that was my belief when I saw Coach Sutter out there with Johnny. I really felt like a lot of people were wrong on what they thought Darryl was about and that influence on the team. And so now I'm a little jolted. I'm a little unsure of what people think about Calgary, period. And again, I know a lot of people want to argue about, American, Canadian, those kinds of things, because they are of some significance. But it's starting to feel a little bit like, is there a ripple amongst those in the hockey world who are starting to feel that maybe Calgary, because of the arena deal, because of how, the current mayor and their administration feels about new buildings, new situations, are they starting to feel like maybe it's not the greatest place for their client to play? That's a problem. I don't know how you fix it, because the only way to me is, you see some new stuff going up, you get new facilities, you get a new arena, you get more updated, modern. If you don't, then it's hard to sell them on stuff. But it seems like at least the American players are going, thanks, but no thanks.
Well, Mike, if you're Calgary, number one, the Flames realize they've had issues in the past with culture and so forth. Steps have been taken to address that, and the results, I feel, are visible. As far as the city, Don Cherry came out and said on his podcast, Gaudreau wanted to leave because he didn't like the pressure of Calgary. He can go to Columbus where he doesn't have to produce. What's Calgary supposed to do? They love the Flames. The team's very visible. Edmonton's no different, other than getting a new rink. I don't think he left because of the rink. What should Calgary do?
I don't know. And that's why I'm saying there's a little bit of panic in me, because, it's the quiet whisper stuff that kills you. It's the stuff that you're really not aware of and not understanding. I mean, you're talking to the wrong guy about, Calgary. If you want me to be, detrimental to the city, it's the, the greatest city in this country with the greatest people. I feel that, and I'm very honest on this show. I mean, I miss it every single day. It's really difficult to not be a part of that town. It's why I still have a house there. It's during the many operations that I've had since the cancer back 7 years ago, and last Thursday was the last one of the 7-year fight, and I got a voicemail from Darryl on my cell phone, and then this beautiful jersey with an incredible message written on the back. Like, you can't get any more emotion from me than bringing up Calgary, bringing up the Stampede, bringing up the Chuck Wagons, the Sutherland family, bringing up, the Stampeders, talking about the Red Mile, talking about almost anything that has to do with that province it was overwhelming for me from the moment that I got off the plane. Now, of course, Jerry Forbes is one of my best friends, so it kind of makes it a little bit easier. But the people, it's the people in that city. How do you not want to play for them? I mean, you'd have to ask a guy like Jerome McKinley what that was like. I mean, to be in that building in the sea of red, to feel the absolute love and dedication that the people have for the players. I couldn't explain that someone thought that was pressure filled. Okay, let me tell you what pressure is. Pressure's, and you hear this from guys who play for the Leafs. Well, that's such a tough city to play in. No, it's not. It's totally not a tough city to play in. There's one guy, Steve Simmons. Steve Simmons is the only guy who probably is going to ask a harder question that a lot of Leaf fans don't like. Leaf Nation doesn't like it. There's a lot of people. But he is going to ask that question. You go to New York City, you have 40 Steve Simmons. You go to Montreal as an Anglophone or anything else, and you want to be private in Montreal as a habitant, good luck with that. They'll go through your garbage, and they'll find out letters from your mother where it turns out she thinks your wife is fat. Like, if you want to go to someplace tough, there are tough places. Go to Philadelphia where they boo Santa and throw snowballs at his nuts. You know what? If you want a tough place, I can show you tough places. Calgary ain't one of them.
I love the rant. You know what? We lost our connection from Grey Eagle to the studio, and you kept talking through all of it, and now I'm back. I didn't hear any of it, but it ended really well, Mike. So,
well, you got to finish speak. Good night, everybody. Enjoy the veal. There you go.
Hey, I hope for the best, but I can take this. You'll get this. Guy at the front desk who's like pulling his hair out. He's like, Gaudreau's gone. Next, Tkachuk. If we don't have a new rink started by November, the team's going to be gone.
Well,
is it that you get it? You've been here.
Yeah, I think it's fragile enough just simply because, look, in sports, there's two things that got to happen. So if it's college sports, you need the athletic department to really understand the value of having a good program. So if you go to the U of S, you see what that football program, you see what athletics means and why people go to Saskatoon, why people go to a school like that. You see what it means when big programs like St. Mary's go across the country and look at where La Rouge et Or, where there's a big sports program. It does to a degree, even in Canada, not to the same degree in the U.S. obviously, where if you're at one of those big schools, if you're at Alabama, if you're at Kentucky, you're at UCLA, if you're happy about the Bunsen burner you got as one of the science nerds, then thank the football program. Are you happy about the new hospital you got? Thank the football program. I mean, that's where all the money comes from. But in order for that to happen, the administration has to understand the importance of sports and monetarily, and also to the name and the reputation of the school, what it can bring in. So in Canada, you have to have those things, and it doesn't happen because sometimes the academics don't get it. Well, in the case of Calgary, the current situation with who they have in the mayor's office and the rest of them that are in there, if they don't deem that the Calgary Flames are important enough to sink a little bit of money into to continue the culture of what happens with a Calgary Flames in Calgary, then you're in big trouble. If you don't see the benefits of an NHL team in the city, you're going to have a problem. Now, do I think that every single dollar, and I understand with all the pressures of what has happened in the oil and gas industry, what has happened with COVID, what the stupid war over, with the maniac in Russia. I mean, all those things that have gone into it where monies might differently be thought of and how you're going to spend it as a city. I understand that. I'm not an idiot. However, but understanding what that team means to Calgary as its own heartbeat, as its passion as a Flames fan, and what it does for the self-esteem of the city itself. If that's not important to you as someone who's sitting in the mayor's chair, then I'm sorry, but you are addle-minded. There are tumbleweeds through your ears. You're not getting it. You don't hear it. And if you don't, I think you're going to put the whole city of Calgary in jeopardy. And I'm a little afraid for the franchise. And I'm being as honest as I can because I spent a lot of time in those buildings. I spent a lot of time talking to many Sutters, talking to Ken King, sitting with Peter Maher, being with Rob Kerr. I mean, it means the world to me, but I'm a little afraid. And this last 72 hours hasn't helped my feeling to change it.
No, B. Henderson writes in and says, Leafs fans will be feeling the same way in 2 years when Matthews does exactly the same things and walks away from Toronto. Yeah, but Toronto's not going to lose the Leafs. What Mike's saying is it's a deeper fear beyond Gaudreau and Tkachuk, and it's all tied in. Mike, we're out of time, but what you did here, I'm not sure you eased any fears of people in Calgary, but at least I know they want to. They want to know what you think, and you said it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I feel for the Flames fans. And, hey, I wish I was in Calgary talking on a radio station there. Apparently there's an opening. Hello. Hey, want to make a phone call?
Make it happen.
Make it happen. I'll be there tomorrow. I'll be there. Hey, if you got the balls to put on something real, I'll be there. If you want to have a Raw show tomorrow, a Raw show can be in your studio tomorrow. That's all I'm saying.
Love you, Mike.
Hey, see you, brother. Thanks so much.
What it is. Raw Mike Richards. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of the Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.